What's up, folks? Today's video, thinking like a multi-instrumentalist. What if a carpenter specialized in hammering and only brought hammers to their job site? Imagine an elementary music teacher who could only teach you rhythms, clapping, snapping, something like that. Imagine getting that gig of a lifetime only to have your lead vocalist fall ill. The saying, jack of all trades is a master of none, is actually incomplete. The original saying goes, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. What's up, folks? My name's Robert. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, welcome. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, music teacher, performer, and arranger, living in Boulder, Colorado area. For those already subscribed, especially if you have that bell notification checked, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate it. So that quote, the jack of all trades, suits me to a T, right? Cello, violin, ukulele, playing electric bass, singer-songwriter, able to jump in at a moment's notice at bluegrass, a jazz sit-in, an Irish session, you name it, I've done it. So, can I teach you to think like a multi-instrumentalist? Even if you only play one instrument, or even if you're just brand new to being a musician. And the moment you start being, playing an instrument, singing, I consider you a musician. It's true. The answer is yes. So here's my 5 tips for thinking like a multi-instrumentalist. They're not in any order. I just took some notes here, and I am going to kind of read off my notes. I will have a second video out here, maybe tomorrow, that has some ukulele palm muting techniques. And that video is going to really sum up a lot of these tips because I came to that technique and that skill from thinking like a bass player. So, all right, so 1. This is the biggest one, I think, is think about the whole song, not just your role. How does your part fit into the larger sonic texture? If you've seen my video on Soul to Squeeze, I think I have 2 videos up. One is me doing a cello play along of the bass part, and the other is playing my low G Kamoa right here. And in both those videos, you can hear the bass part come through. Because in my opinion, when I listen to that song, Soul to Squeeze by Red Hot Chili Peppers, the bass, that acoustic bass part is the thing that really glues everything together. So I tried to capture that regardless of the instrument I'm playing. I recently picked up electric bass again, and that's one of the first bass lines I gravitated to. So how does your part fit in that larger role? Listen to a song, figure out its essence, and see how to incorporate that onto your instrument, or if you're playing as a full band or a duo or whatever, how can you bring out those best parts given the instrumentation you're working with? Second tip, learn from the other instruments. This is the key to everything. You don't have to play every single instrument from every single instrument family to think like a multi-instrumentalist. Can you lock in with the drummer's articulation as a horn player? You know, if the drummer is accenting a certain thing to get a feel, can you hit that same accent with the same style when you have it in your lines, if it's appropriate, obviously? Can you emulate the vocalist's tone when you follow up with a guitar solo after them. I teach, right? I teach at Harmony Music House in Boulder, and one of the things I regularly tell my students is to go listen. And I could end the sentence right there, but I take it a step further. And I tell them to listen to pieces or performances with different instruments. I tell my violinists to listen to a trumpet player for their phrasing, when they take a breath, things like that. So you start to hear aspects of tone, articulation, phrasing, like I said, breath. All without the biases that you've built up while learning your instrument and the technique specific to it. Unlocking patterns. This is a cool one. And this is something you could learn as a single, playing ukulele or singing or whatever. But unlock that pattern. If you learn a chord progression on one instrument, then that frees you up. So when you go and play that epic screaming guitar solo, you might be thinking about the changes, but if you've already internalized them, you don't have to. Your fingers are going to communicate with your brain and do what they need to do to get that solo to sound really good. It's all going to just work by ear. So yeah, jazz musicians learn the changes, and then they apply the changes to their solo, their monophonic instrument, like a saxophone or a trumpet over top of it. Think about that structure. What's the bass line doing? And then you can start to build over that. Groove. If I could snap my fingers and have a completely new music education program in public schools, the first thing I would do is take Victor Wooten's idea of groove and playing music and start there. Most elementary ed starts with steady beat. That's awesome. That's groove, right? But they quickly get away with it. They start teaching you a song and they teach you the notes. I think groove is everything. So no matter what instrument you're playing, listen down to the rhythm section. And when I say rhythm section, that doesn't mean the bass and drummer in a rock band or a jazz band or, the bass player in bluegrass. It applies to any ensemble. It could be the kind of driving violin part while the cellos and basses have the melody, or the French horns have a soaring melody above everything. But the rhythm section is that steady 16th note pattern, or ostinato, right? My last video was Pachelbel's Canon. The rhythm section is that bass ostinato, right? Always be listening down. If you can't tap your foot to it, and it's something that's meant to have its foot tapped to, go back and just listen until you can feel it. Five. Be the teacher. If you are fortunate enough to be a multi-instrumentalist, whether you had that support as a child like I did, or you're just infinitely curious about the different instruments out there, or you had access to the band room during lunches like I did, and you could explore a marimba or a vibraphone, or you knew how to tune timpani before you got into college to study percussion or music ed, anything like that. If you are fortunate enough and privileged to have any of those kind of experiences, be willing to share. what you've learned. How does learning cello relate to learning ukulele? How does it relate to playing violin? How can you apply bass playing skills and that groove to something new like playing a cajon or a djembe? How can you adapt and train your singing voice or speaking voice based on your playing trumpet or a wind instrument or a stringed instrument that was originally created to emulate the voice, the human voice? Share those. If you only play one instrument and it's something that no one else has at the table, share a little bit. One of the hardest things, and something I'm still learning, is banjo rolls. But you can apply those to any of these string instruments over here. It's not typically what they're used for, but there are parallels to it. An instrument I've been really excited to try and just haven't had an opportunity is mandolin, because I feel like it combines my violin experience playing that same tuning, G, D, A, E, in fifths with a bow, with the fretted instruments like my ukulele or guitar. And rhythm, keeping those chops, those 2 and 4 chucks in a bluegrass session. It all relates, right? So there you have it. My 5 ways to think like a multi-instrumentalist. Let me know down in the comments if A, you play or want to play multiple instruments. B, how learning multiple instruments has helped you become a better musician. And again, if you're playing music, if you're making music, whether it's in front of thousands of people at Red Rocks or in your bedroom, you are a musician in my eyes. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Finally, I do a video every week. I shifted them from Sundays over to Monday just to give myself a little bit more time on the weekend to get them together. So if you enjoyed this or any of my other content, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel. And consider turning on those bell notifications. I know they're going to be changing soon. Sounds like email notifications might be going away. So definitely turn those on so you can be alerted in app or as a push notification or something like that. I truly appreciate your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.